Hi, welcome to Asian American Life. I'm Ernabelle DeMillo. Today we take a look at some of the most influential Asian American leaders and innovators in technology, from scientific breakthroughs to changes in education and entertainment. You could also learn more about our stories by liking our Facebook page at Asian American Life. Now let's take a look at what's coming up ahead on our show. Saving lives, Mike Gilliam shows us how you can turn your phone into a blood test device. What's faster than Wi-Fi? Li-Fi. Paul Lin explains how it works. Minnie Rowe looks at what's hot in sports entertainment. And Kyung Yoon meets one woman who's closing the gender gap in technology by coding. We begin with my report on Asian Americans in the tech industry. Many Asian Americans are being hired as engineers and coders, but if you take a closer look, you'll find few in the boardroom in key leadership positions. Wes Hom says he was one of the few Asian American senior executives working for Fortune 500 company IBM. When he was working his way up the corporate ladder, he learned that he was missing an all-important skill.
And I realized that communications was one of the things that I had to be comfortable with. And I was not good in communications. I wanted to just do my job, deliver it, do a high quality job, and go home.
But if he wanted a key to the executive suite, he would have to do more than just a good job.
I didn't worry about these other things like doing a presentation, doing a product announcement, or being part of a skit in the branch where I started from. And I didn't like to do that, but I realized that to be part of the community and to get recognition and to get visibility, I had to go do these things that I was not comfortable with.
Communications is known as a soft skill. Others include collaboration and team building, skills not usually taught in the classroom, and one reason Hom says Asian Americans are hitting the so-called bamboo ceiling in tech. According to the nonprofit organization Ascend, at tech powerhouses, white workers are 2.5 times more likely than Asian Americans to serve as executives. This despite making up 17% of all tech workers. This is slowly changing. Recently, several Asian Americans have been named to top positions. South Asians now head up Google, Microsoft, and Adobe. And of course, let's not forget the early tech pioneers, Charles Wang, co-founder and CEO of Computer Associates, and Jerry Yang, co-founder and former CEO of Yahoo. But today, Yahoo's key leaders are mostly white. In 2015, Asians made up 61% of Yahoo's workforce, with 19% in leadership positions. Whites, meanwhile, made up 31% of the workforce and hold 73% of the executive roles. Hom, who retired from IBM, now works for Ascend, whose mission is to educate and advocate for Asian American business leaders and companies.
We build programs to help professionals network better, understand politics in a company better, understand taking risk is very important. Asians, in many ways, don't take a lot of risk.
But one area in tech where Asian Americans are taking risk, startups. While Asians may find the boardroom hard to access at places like LinkedIn and Intel, some Asian Americans have decided to leave or bypass the big companies and start their own. There's Jess Lee, CEO of the popular fashion site Polyvore, Andrew Yang of Venture for America, and then there's Che Huang, CEO and co-founder of Box, a fast-rising mobile startup. We visited Huang at his Edison, New Jersey warehouse, not far from where he grew up. Che, so how did all this come about?
So it came out of literally my garage, believe it or not, about 2 years ago now. It came out of me growing up in the suburbs, going to the Price Club every weekend with my parents, and later moving into Manhattan and not having a car myself. I realized that I didn't have the time, or I didn't have the physical means, nor the time or the patience to go to a warehouse club, and thought it was, at that time, 2013, why not solve that problem?
And he did with a mobile app. With your smartphone, you could have bulk goods like toilet paper, paper towels, and so on delivered right to your doorstep. 70% of their orders are made on the app.
It's so interesting how technology has changed the world, basically, in that, if you have a great idea, you execute it well, and it's the right timing, then this can happen in as little as 2 years.
His company just received another $100 million in financing. They will soon move to a warehouse 3 times bigger than their current one. But life didn't start out like this for Huang. He came from quite humble beginnings. His parents immigrated from Taiwan in the early 80s, and he remembers his parents struggling to make ends meet.
Both my parents didn't really speak English at the time, and so my mom, my dad was unemployed at the time, ended up selling some stuff on the weekend at the local market, and then my mom was a cashier at the local Chinese food restaurant right in front of the Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore.
Huang ended up going to Johns Hopkins as a pre-med major, then switching to pre-law.
I started off my career at a law firm. After a few years there, I just knew I was never going to be in it for the long run in terms of grinding it out and trying to make partner. It was really for me just to follow what I had a lot of passion, in, or around, and also what I later found out what I was pretty good at.
Cut to 2016, and Huang is slowly building what looks like a mini empire. The Edison warehouse, with row after row of bulk goods, is a busy place with workers fulfilling online orders. Box now employs more than 100 workers, with warehouses nationwide and more to come. And Huang recently made headlines when he announced he would pay for his employees' children's college tuition.
I actually don't want to be known, in the future when all is said and done with my life, as just being a successful entrepreneur. At the end of the day, I just want folks to say that literally, that guy left the world or at least he tried to leave the world in a slightly better place than the one that he entered into.
He's come a long way from the little boy whose parents could not literally afford a pack of gum.
I still have very vivid recollections of going into the store and literally wanting a pack of gum, and just seeing the pain on my mom's face, not being able to afford that pack of gum for me, and just saying that you don't really need that, and saying that a few times, and then one time actually just telling me that we just couldn't afford it. And so stuff like that makes me very thankful.
Huang can now buy all the gum he wants as his business continues to grow.
Advances in technology, including the smartphone, are playing a major role in the way medical services are delivered. Here at Columbia University, researchers have actually developed something they're calling a life-saving blood app that plugs into a smartphone. This is the dongle created by Dr. Sam Sia, an associate professor of engineering at Columbia, and his team. It can be used to do blood tests far away from a hospital or the lab at a fraction of the cost of laboratory tests.
We call it a smartphone dongle or an M-chip smartphone dongle. The way it works is you would prick your finger and get a drop of blood. So instead of having people drawing blood from your vein, you would just prick yourself like diabetic patients do, and put that drop of blood onto this device here, which fills the tube, and snap it into the chip. And the chip goes into the reader, and this dongle here would then produce the result in conjunction with the smartphone. What we've shown is that we can use it to test for HIV and syphilis, so sexually transmitted diseases. We've done testing in sub-Saharan Africa and Rwanda to show that it works on the infectious diseases over there as well. But in theory, we can do a lot of other things. This panel of tests called immunoassay, so it could go from cancer markers to some cardiovascular markers, basically any protein markers. So a lot of other tests we can potentially do as well.
It has already been tested in Rwanda by Sia and his team, including PhD student Samiksha Nayak. In the lab, she pricks her finger and demonstrates how it works. Then the operator follows the instructions on the smartphone until the results are known in about 15 minutes.
The result can be displayed to either the doctor or the patient right there within that same visit. But because we're using this in conjunction with a smartphone, the information can also be synchronized with the patient health records up in the cloud as well. This is the future, and this is really where a lot of us think medicine will invariably go.
The move towards digital health is already underway, with consumers using apps and other electronics to monitor their health. But Dr. Sia says devices like his could transform medicine.
You can see medicine being delivered in people's homes and pharmacies instead of having everything being done in hospitals where it's very expensive and very inefficient.
This is very important in places like Rwanda, where undiagnosed cases of syphilis and HIV can be deadly. Samiksha Nayak traveled to Rwanda and took part in the field trials. The device was taken to rural villages, and they say it provided very accurate results using the battery power from the phone.
It was an incredible experience to be able to see this being used in the field and to see something that you've spent a lot of time working on here in the lab actually being implemented. I think that's something that not many people get to do in their PhD career, so I'm really thankful to be working in a lab like this. They're definitely interested in the device and its capabilities, and especially the ability for mobile outreach and sort of going on more mobile health visits.
In addition to mobility, there is also the issue of cost. The robot used to do blood tests in the lab can cost thousands and thousands of dollars. The cost to make the dongle is $34. Each test also requires the chemical diagnostic chip. But in the end, they say, each test costs about $40 or $50 at the hospital, and they hope to do the same test for about $10. Now, researchers say devices like this dongle and others are still in their infancy stage. So where will all of this go over the next 10 years?
Well, it's going to be a very exciting time in the next 10 years when we start seeing the kinds of tests that your doctor might be interested in.
Like ultrasound?
Like ultrasound, you know, not just blood tests, but ultrasound, things that they really look at. They're not looking at the number of steps you take or things like that. If the kinds of things that they're interested in are now start being offered to the consumer on a more frequent basis, we can actually get these measurements taken more frequently. That's when you're going to see the healthcare system being transformed. We're going to see preventive medicine being much more powerful.
I'm Mike Gilliam for Asian American Life.
I'm Paul Lin. Wi-Fi brings the internet to you wherever you are, but it can have speed issues, especially if there are a lot of people on it. One leading U.S. researcher is an India-born physicist. He's working on a technology that would boost data speeds 100 times faster than Wi-Fi using light instead of radio waves.
The idea of communicating with light itself is not new. Think of smokestacks, right? I mean, that's a good example of a visible communication. So visible light communication has been around for so long.
Professor Vinod Menon does research in photonics, the science of generating, manipulating, and detecting light, and the use of light to send data has been dubbed Li-Fi.
Li-Fi stands for light fidelity, but what it really is communicating between your computer or your handheld device and the outside world using light as the medium that sends that data to your device.
The current setup most of us are familiar with, of course, is Wi-Fi, which uses radio waves to transmit data.
The problem with Wi-Fi is because it's radio frequency, you're limited in bandwidth, and there's so much Wi-Fi being used. For example, if you're sitting in Bryant Park and trying to access the Wi-Fi there, it is extremely congested.
But why are radio waves more limited than light? To understand that, let's first look at how data is transmitted. When you download a movie or send a picture, the computer reads that data as a series of ones and zeros, so-called binary code. The larger the item, the more data, and the more ones and zeros, the longer the download time. Visible light moves all that data much faster.
If you use Li-Fi, for example, where there's a much higher bandwidth, each person has much larger bandwidth accessible to the person. So which means the congestion is not happening. To put a number, it's about 3.5 gigabits per second as compared to your wireless router, which is in megabits per second. Like, it's about a factor of 100 improvement that you can easily get.
Professor Menon first became interested in optics research as a student in India, where he received a master's in physics. His inspiration came from the country's great history in the field, dating back to 1930, and C.V. Raman, who won the Nobel Prize for Physics that year. But research being done in the U.S. inspired him to come to the States, where he earned a PhD in physics from the University of Massachusetts and went on to do his current photonics research. So the big breakthrough for Li-Fi data transmission comes from LED light bulbs.
Suppose we replace those fluorescent bulbs with LEDs, and these LEDs sitting next to them had an on-off switch which could turn them on and off at really high speeds. Then what these LEDs are doing are turning on and off really fast, but our eye doesn't perceive it, so our eye still sees this room being lit up uniformly. But your computer has a sensor that detects the fact that there is this LED that is blinking at really high speeds. Those high-speed blinking is actually your ones and zeros, your data that is coming down. And that's how you download your movie that you want to see.
Our current incandescent and fluorescent light bulbs can't turn on and off fast enough like the LEDs. But the great potential of Li-Fi is that the infrastructure is already there. Eventually, specialized LED bulbs could go right where our current lights are. With Li-Fi, you'd be able to walk into a room, turn on the lights, and have internet connection.
If I need to use Li-Fi, do I need to have the lights on in my house all the time? And the answer is no, you don't, because you can actually dim the light. And even with the dimmest light, which is not perceivable to our eye, you might be able to send the data.
Li-Fi isn't set to dethrone Wi-Fi just yet, but the first real-world office and business uses have already taken place in Estonia, and speeds have indeed reached over 100 times faster than Wi-Fi. The question now is, just how fast can it go?
Wi-Fi typically relies on megabits per second. The Li-Fi speeds have been predicted to be gigabits per second. So if you can make those LEDs run faster, then that's a way to get higher data speeds. One of the things we are working on in my lab is how can we make LEDs turn on and off faster.
As photonics technology advances, we can expect to see Li-Fi as a part of our lives in coming years, and with it, a much faster connection to the internet. I'm Paul Lin for Asian American Life.
I'm Minnie Rowe. If you're a sports fan, there's an app that you should know about, which features one of the most recognizable Asian American sports anchors in the country. The app pares down the latest sports news and commentary into 2-minute blocks. And just to show you how much information you can cram into that time frame, I'm going to tell you all about this app in exactly 2 minutes.
True to its name, most of the content on 120 Sports is 120 seconds long, or 2 minutes.
120 Sports provides you the opportunity to go wherever you want to go, do whatever you need to do, and still stay abreast of what's happening in the world of sports.
Many of you sports fans probably recognize this man. 120 Sports main anchor Michael Kim hailed from ESPN, where he was the first Asian American anchor on the network. His show, SportsCenter, was seen in 67 countries, and he's widely considered a pioneer for Asian Americans in sports journalism.
Here on 120 Sports, we're going to...
120 Sports launched in June 2014 with Kim at its helm and boasts an impressive lineup of former athletes and sportscasters. It's free to download and watch thanks to heavyweight partners like Time Inc., the NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and NASCAR.
We can show video unlike any other operation. In fact, we have better video rights in a lot of ways on our app as far as mobile services are concerned, better than even ESPN in some cases.
So when you have a few minutes to kill, whip out your phone and catch up on any sports topic you desire.
If you're only interested in the Yankees or the Rangers, you can punch that team's name into the search mechanism and you will be able to get all the stories that we have on file.
And it's not just for the hardcore fan, it can also appeal to even the casual fan.
We have an actual bar inside our studio. We have what we call our locker set, which is almost, somebody said it's like a man cave because it has a bunch of jerseys and helmets with big leather chairs. And we have so many former athletes who are part of our team.
Kim calls 120 Sports the wave of the future and has no regrets about trading in his network job.
I did not want to be at the gate when this plane takes off, because this plane is going to take off and these guys are offering me a first-class seat on this flight.
You can watch 120 Sports on your phone, tablet, and computer, and on social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I'm Minnie Rowe for Asian American Life.
I'm Kyung Yoon. There's long been a shortage of female workers in the fields of science and technology. One woman is setting out to change all that.
Reshma Sajani is in a hurry to equip girls with computing skills that can help them pursue careers in technology and engineering.
We're a national movement, and our goal is to close the gender gap in computer science education.
In 2012, she launched Girls Who Code to break down gender stereotypes and get more young women excited about computer programming, or coding, which is what you need to know to create computer software, apps, and websites.
My name is Sonia, and I want to create an app that can combine all of traffic and subway updates.
In this effort, she has been at the forefront of leading a science revolution with women in tech to help reverse an alarming trend in this country. While 37% of computer science graduates were women in the 1980s, today that number is less than 20%.
Many of our girls come from families that don't have a computer, that don't have Wi-Fi. And they are sitting there next to girls who may have every opportunity in the world. But both of them are so disadvantaged when it comes to coding education that this experience is transformational for the girls and their families.
Her goal is to level the playing field so that women can fill at least half of the estimated 1.4 million computing jobs in the U.S. in 2020. What began 4 years ago with a program for 20 girls in New York City has rapidly expanded across the country. This summer, the 7-week immersion program for high school girls will be serving more than 1,500 students in 11 cities. It's caught the attention of sponsors like Google, Twitter, and General Electric.
We do two things. We embed classrooms in technology companies and universities where for 7 weeks we teach girls, rising juniors and seniors in high school, how to computer program. That course is essentially the equivalent of a half a semester in college. And then we build after-school programs in schools, libraries, and community centers.
Girls Who Code also works in partnership with larger national initiatives like Google's Made with Code, a $50 million investment by the technology giant to inspire more young women to take an interest in computer science and prepare them for the future workforce. The program goes beyond mere technical training, teaching leadership skills and exposing the students to role models in the world of technology and beyond, including visits from Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Facebook's Sheryl Sandberg. On this day, U.S. Congresswoman Grace Meng came by to meet with the girls and share some of her own experiences.
These programs are so important. Had it not been for example, internships for myself when I was a student, I never would have thought about entering politics. And so we need to, as leaders in this country, create more opportunities where our young women feel like they can do whatever they set their minds to. They need to see role models that look like themselves and have come from similar backgrounds. So that they feel that it's possible and gives them the confidence to move forward.
11th grader Zuri Harvel says that beyond learning JavaScript and HTML, she has gained the confidence to reach outside her comfort zone and take risks.
They inspire me to show that it doesn't matter how many times you fail or how many times you don't get exactly what you want. There's always another way to that path, or maybe even something better.
We as a society don't encourage women to take risks and to fail, right? That we live in a society that's so ashamed of failure, especially for women, right? Men are constantly getting rejected, constantly, right? Starting companies, closing companies, they didn't work and they raised money and they go do it all over again. Whereas we almost feel like we need to be a sure thing, right? Before we take that step. And I really felt like that was what was keeping so many women behind.
Reshma Sajani knows a thing or two about risk-taking and failure, having run for and lost 2 high-profile political races in New York, first for U.S. Congress in 2010 and then for New York City Public Advocate in 2012.
It was that experience of really meeting young women on the campaign trail, seeing the inequity in our school system here in New York City is what inspired me to start Girls Who Code.
The daughter of immigrants who fled Ugandan dictator Idi Amin in 1973 when he expelled people of Indian descent, Reshma's family eventually settled in the Chicago area, where she was born in 1975.
I think a lot of my parents' experience, again, coming here as refugees with nothing, having to take risks in their own lives. And I think for me, it's just, I think I've always had so much rejection, you know what I mean? From a young age, I applied to Yale Law School 3 times before I got in, right? I've lost 2 races, that it's built a serious amount of resilience. My Asian heritage and my Indian heritage has like shaped me and it inspired me. I think I've profoundly moved by the immigrant experience, like I'm living it. Like I love this country, like my sense of patriotism and my really huge desire to kind of give back to a nation that literally saved my life. My emphasis on education, right? We're only sitting here because of education. That's why Girls Who Code is so important to me, because I want to make sure that girls are actually learning skills that they can go out and get a job, you know, make money, bring money back into the family, transcend their, you know, their family's experience, like move into intergenerational wealth, right? Those things are so important to me, and I think that's so much about my own immigrant experience.
You recently became a mom. How has that changed you?
Ironically, having Sean, my son's, made me more ambitious because I feel like I'm so conscious about the world that I want to make for him, that I want him to live in. It's also freed me up a little bit, right? It's like you kind of, maybe you become a little bit less selfish and you just, you know, it's less about you and it's more about him in the world that you want to create. It's also showed me how hard it is that we make it for women who work and who have children.
But for now, Reshma is focusing on inspiring more girls to use the power of technology to change the world.
Reshma's goal is to reach 1 million girls by 2020 and to close the gender gap in computer science education. I'm Kyung Yoon for Asian American Life.
That's it for now. If you want more information, be sure to like our Facebook page at Asian American Life. I'm Ernabelle DeMillo. We'll see you next time.